Hey everyone, welcome back to Usoft Reacts. I am Lois. Today, we're diving into the epic world of Asgard with our review of Thor. The Dark World, the 2013 Marvel blockbuster that takes us on another thrilling adventure with the God of Thunder. Let's get started. Released in 2013, Thor: The Dark World is the second installment in the Thor franchise and the eighth film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Directed by Alan Taylor, this film brings back Chris Hemsworth as the mighty Thor, alongside Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, and Anthony Hopkins. In this movie, we see Thor facing a new threat in the form of Malekith, the leader of the Dark Elves, played by Christopher Eccleston. Malekith plans to plunge the universe into darkness using a powerful weapon called the Ether. It's up to Thor to stop him and save the Nine Realms. The film is packed with spectacular action sequences, breathtaking visual effects, and a lot of humor. One of the standout aspects is the dynamic between Thor and his mischievous brother Loki, played brilliantly by Tom Hiddleston. Loki's character continues to be a fan favorite, and his unpredictable nature adds an extra layer of intrigue to the story. The chemistry between Hemsworth and Hiddleston is one of the film's highlights. Natalie Portman's character, Jane Foster, also plays a crucial role in the plot, as she becomes infected by the Ether. Her relationship with Thor faces new challenges, and we get to see more of her scientific prowess. One of the strengths of the Dark World is its ability to blend different genres from epic fantasy and sci-fi to romance and comedy. However, some critics pointed out that the film's villain, Malekith, felt somewhat underdeveloped compared to other MCU antagonists. While Malekith's motives are clear, his character doesn't receive as much depth as we might have hoped. Nonetheless, the film's stunning visuals and thrilling action make up for this shortcoming. Overall, Thor: The Dark World is an entertaining addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a must-watch for fans of the franchise and anyone who loves a good superhero movie. From the epic battle scenes to the emotional moments between characters, this movie delivers a well-rounded experience that keeps you on the edge of your seat. When the Dark Elves attempt to plunge the universe into darkness, Thor must embark on a perilous and personal journey that will reunite him with Dr. Jane Foster. Thousands of years ago, a race of beings known as Dark Elves tried to send the universe into darkness by using a weapon known as the Ether. Warriors from Asgard stopped them, but their leader Malekith Christopher Eccleston escaped to wait for another opportunity. The warriors find the Ether, and since it cannot be destroyed, they try to hide it. In the present day, Jane Foster Natalie Portman waits the return of Thor Chris Hemsworth, although it has been 2 years since they last saw one another. In the meantime, Thor has been trying to bring peace to the Nine Realms. Jane discovers an anomaly similar to the one that brought Thor to Earth. She goes to investigate, finds a wormhole and is sucked into it. Back on Asgard, Thor wishes to return to Earth, but his father, Odin Sir Anthony Hopkins, refuses to let him. Thor learns from Heimdall Idris Elba, who can see into all of the realms, that Jane disappeared. Thor then returns to Earth just as Jane reappears. However, when some policemen try to arrest her, an unknown energy repulses them. Thor then brings Jane to Asgard to find out what happened to her. When the energy is released again, they discover that when Jane disappeared, she crossed paths with the Ether and it entered her. Malekith, upon sensing that the time to strike is now, seeks out the Ether. He attacks Asgard and Thor's mother Frigga Renee Russo is killed protecting Jane. Odin wants to keep Jane on Asgard so that Malekith will come. Thor disagrees with his plan, so with his cohorts, he decides to take Jane away. He enlists the aid of his brother, Loki Tom Hiddleston. Unfortunately, Loki's motivations remain unknown. There are 9 realms of Asgard, and once every 5,000 years, they align. Earth happens to be one of these realms. These realms create portals between the worlds during the alignment, which is called convergence. On Earth, in London, England, Jane Foster Natalie Portman believes she and her crew have discovered one such portal. Foster, while investigating the phenomenon, is transported to another realm and comes in contact with a substance called the Ether. Upon coming into contact with the substance, it draws Thor Chris Hemsworth from Asgard back to Earth. Thor takes Jane to Asgard to be cured from the Ether. Unfortunately, in doing so, it draws more than just Jane to that world. Another being called Malekith Christopher Eccleston wants to use the Ether to destroy Asgard. Devising a plan with his brother, the war criminal Loki Tom Hiddleston, Thor heads to the Dark World to destroy the Ether and save Asgard. But can Loki be trusted? After Loki's Tom Hiddleston's devastating alien attack on New York City, the mighty Thor Chris Hemsworth, along with his friends Lady Sif Jamie Alexander, and the Warriors 3 fight to save the 9 realms from deadly threats. When Thor's girlfriend Jane Foster Natalie Portman discovers a fluid-like weapon called the Ether, she unknowingly awakens the evil Malekith Christopher Eccleston and his Dark Elf army. With this, Asgard may be facing its darkest hour. Thor forms an uneasy alliance with his nemesis Loki to save Jane, stop Malekith, and save the 9 realms from total chaos and darkness. Thor Chris Hemsworth returns to do battle with Malekith Christopher Eccleston, the vengeful leader of a primordial race that seeks to destroy the 9 realms, in this big-budget comic book adventure. Set after the events of Marvel's The Avengers 2012. With even Odin Sir Anthony Hopkins unable to protect Asgard from the approaching darkness, the god of thunder reunites with Jane Foster Natalie Portman, and prepares to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to save the world from certain destruction. Eons ago, Thor Tony Curran, father of Odin Anthony Hopkins, clashes with the Dark Elf Malekith Christopher Eccleston, who seeks to destroy the universe using a weapon known as the Ether. Malekith wanted to transform the universe back into one of eternal darkness. Ether is an ancient force of infinite destruction. The Ether could be unleashed only when the 9 realms coincided in a line, which happens every 5,000 years. But just as when the event occurred, Thor took the Ether from Malekith's grasp using the Bifrost. With the battle all but lost, Malekith orders his ships to fall upon the Asgard army, which meant that Malekith's forces were sacrificed to inflict maximum possible damage on the Asgard army. After conquering Malekith's forces, including enhanced warriors, called the Cursed who had ingested a small part of Ether to transform into the Cursed. On their homeworld of Svartalfheim, Thor safeguards the Ether within a stone column. Ether could not be destroyed as its power was too great, and hence the order was to bury it in a place where no one could ever find it. Unbeknownst to Thor, Malekith, his lieutenant Algrim Adawale Akinui Agbage, and a handful of Dark Elves escape into suspended animation. In present-day Asgard, Loki Tom Hiddleston stands imprisoned for his war crimes on Earth. Loki claims that he wanted to rule Earth as his birthright, as a benevolent god. Odin spares Loki due to Frigga, and orders Loki to be imprisoned instead of being executed. Meanwhile, Thor, alongside warriors Fandral Zachary Levi, Volstagray Stevenson, and Sif Jamie Alexander, repel marauders on Vanaheim, home of their comrade Hogun Tadanobu Asano. It is the final battle in a war to pacify the 9 realms following the reconstruction of Bifrost, the rainbow bridge between realms which had been destroyed 2 years earlier. The Asgardians soon learn that the convergence, a rare alignment of the 9 realms, is imminent. As the event approaches, portals linking the worlds appear at random. In London, astrophysicist Dr. Jane Foster Natalie Portman and her intern Darcy Lewis Kat Dennings travel to an abandoned factory where such portals have appeared, disrupting the laws of physics around them. Ian Boothby Jonathan Howard is Darcy's intern. Separating from the group, Jane is teleported to another world, right next to the column where Thor stored the Ether, where she is infected by the Ether. Heimdall Idris Elba, the protector of the Asgard portal via the Rainbow Bridge, alerts Thor that Jane has moved beyond his near-omniscient sight, leading Thor to Earth. Jane is returned to Earth, but Darcy tells her that she was gone for 5 hours. Jane realizes that even rainwater would not touch her. When Thor finds Jane, he finds that Jane has inadvertently released an unearthly force which Thor cannot understand. Thor returns with her to Asgard, where Asgard medical professionals conduct a full diagnostic on Jane. They find a huge amount of energy surging within her. Odin, recognizing the Ether, warns that the Ether will not only kill Jane, but that its return heralds a catastrophic prophecy. Odin says that the 9 realms are not eternal. They came into existence after the universe began and will end in the future. But before the 9 realms, the Dark Elves reigned absolute over the universe. The leader of the Dark Elves, Malekith, made a weapon called Ether out of the darkness. The other relics appear as stones, but Ether appears as a fluid and ever-changing. Ether changes matter into dark matter. Malekith wanted to use the Ether's power to return the universe to darkness. Odin is adamant that the Dark Elves were killed by his father Bor. Malekith, awakened by the Ether's release, turns Algrim into a cursed and then sets up base on Svartalfheim. They attack Asgard by sneaking in Algrim as a prisoner. During the battle, Malekith and Algrim search for Jane, sensing that she contains the Ether. Thor explains to Jane that during convergence, the lines between realms becomes blurred and portals appear between them, which will vanish once the realms are out of alignment again. Thor's mother Frigga Renee Russo is killed by Malekith protecting Jane, and Malekith and Algrim are forced to flee without Jane. The Dark Elves hide behind an invisible shield and even Heimdall cannot see them. In their attack, Algrim damaged the force field generator that protected Asgard, and as such the entire city is defenseless. Odin argues that since they have the Ether, Malekith will be forced to attack again, and he wants Thor to wait. But Thor wants to take the fight away from Asgard. Despite Odin's orders not to leave Asgard, Thor Chris Hemsworth reluctantly enlists the help of Loki, who knows of a secret portal to Svartalfheim, where they will use Jane to lure and confront Malekith, away from Asgard. In return, Thor promises Loki vengeance on Malekith for killing their mother. With Volstagg and Sif stalling Asgardian soldiers and Fandral assisting their escape, Thor, Loki, and Jane head to Svartalfheim. There, Loki tricks Malekith into drawing the Ether out of Jane, but Thor's attempt to destroy the exposed substance fails. Malekith merges with the Ether and leaves in his ship as Loki is fatally wounded while killing Algrim. Thor, cradling Loki in his arms, promises to tell their father of his sacrifice. Afterwards, Thor and Jane discover another portal in a nearby cave and reunite in London with Darcy and Jane's mentor Dr. Erik Selvig Stellan Skarsgård, who was briefly institutionalized due to the mental trauma he suffered during Loki's attack on Earth. While Malekith was extracting the Ether, Jane learns that Malekith plans to destroy the universe and restore the Dark Elves to dominance by unleashing the Ether at the center of the convergence in Greenwich. Thor battles Malekith through various portals and across multiple worlds, until one portal separates them, leaving Malekith unopposed on Earth. Thor returns just in time to help his mortal comrades Erik and Jane to use their scientific equipment to transport Malekith to Svartalfheim, where he is crushed by his own damaged ship, which is also transported to Svartalfheim. Thor returns to Asgard, where he declines Odin's offer to take the throne and tells Odin of Loki's sacrifice. As he leaves, Odin's form transforms to that of a grinning Loki. In a mid-credits scene, Volstagg and Sif visit the Collector and entrust the Ether to his care, commenting that, with the Tesseract already in Asgard, having 2 Infinity Stones so close together would be dangerous. As they leave, the Collector remarks, "1 down, 5 to go." In a post-credits scene, Jane and Thor reunite on Earth while somewhere in London a frost monster from Jotunheim, accidentally transported to Earth during the final battle, continues to run amok. So, what did you think of Thor, the Dark World? Did you enjoy the cosmic adventure and the clash between gods and Dark Elves? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more movie reviews and updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay super.